about you and him. I don't care about what has been. I only care about your soft skin. Cause we're still sleeping in my head. I don't care about you and him. I don't care about what has been. I only care about your soft skin. Cause we're still sleeping in my head.
Hey, hello, I'm JulieJo. Welcome to my channel. Before we get started, don't forget to follow my social media. I'm walkin_on_LexPro on all of my social medias. You can see it in the description, along with everything else pretty much that you need to know about me. So we're going to watch an Instagram video that Brittany Morgan Trent made, and she is an executive national vice president in Arbonne. I was in Arbonne. If you don't know, feel free to go watch my very first video. I think I might need to update that. It's been about a year. Probably need to update that. I am getting over the vid, and I was very, very sick. I got all the symptoms pretty much, and I'm still struggling with my chest and like congestion and breathing and stuff, so it might be a little difficult, but I have the energy to do this now, and I'm excited, and I've been wanting to film, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. Let's just go ahead and get right into it.
Okay, hi everyone. I wanted to hop on here really quickly and just share with you guys something about the biggest hesitation I hear, or the most common hesitation when someone is talking about starting their Arbonne business, and it's about being busy while working an Arbonne business and while building a successful Arbonne business at that. I do want to start off with saying that my journey is not typical in Arbonne, and if you do want to see what is typical, you can go to earnings.arbonne.com.
That is something that all people have to say when they're talking about their experience in Arbonne after the FTC sent out the letters in 2020 when it came to like income claims and health claims. So Arbonne got like, I guess, flagged for both of them, and then we all had to start saying this. So yeah, that's why she had to say it, not because she wanted to.
But I do want to share with that and say with that I'm not a typical worker either, and I work harder, much harder than the typical person, as do you probably. And so it doesn't mean that you have to be typical. So like I said, check that out if you want to see what is, but I'm going to share with you guys what's a typical hesitation about starting your business.
I think her goal with that statement that she just made, which is so ridiculous, makes no sense for it to be there. Her goal, in my opinion, was to kind of push away that first part that she had to say of like, well, I'm not typical, that's why I did this, but also you're probably not typical either, so essentially you could do it too. Well, no, that's why there's the first, that's why they have to say the first part, because most people don't do that.
More often than anything else in the world, I hear people tell me they are just far too busy for this business. I have probably shared more times than you'd like for me to that I am currently a full-time law school student at the University of Oklahoma College of Law. I'm a third year, which means that I'm going to be graduating in May of this year with my Juris Doctorate. I definitely have always built this business while being a busy student, and a lot of the vice presidents on my team have built this business while being busy in whatever facet of life they find themselves in. And so I love this business so much because so many different people from so many different backgrounds can do it. You can love what you do before Arbonne. You cannot like what you do before Arbonne and want to do Arbonne instead. It truly doesn't matter how busy you are. And I think that the one thing that people miss when they use this excuse, because being busy is an excuse that can keep you from the most amazing portions of your entire life. But when they use this excuse, what they're missing is that being successful in this business does not come down to your schedule.
I always find it interesting. I think she's playing on this idea that we all have the same 24 hours in a day. You and I just use them better. You can use them better too. Well, we might all have the same 24 hours in a day, but we don't all have the same privilege. We all have different situations. There's so many things that are wrong with this idea of, well, I'm busy too, so you can do it too. Like, I did it, you can do it, even though you say you're super busy. But in reality, that's not true. There are such things as priorities. Sure, yeah, maybe I'm prioritizing my schoolwork over an MLM that I don't want to be in, and so I am saying I'm busy with schoolwork, so I can't do it. Let's be honest. This person, while being in school, in law school, I'm sure is extremely busy. She got in early, and I know, right? Arbonne was created in 1980. How could she possibly get in early? Well, there was this weird thing that happened in like 2016, 2017. When millennials like exploded. It pretty much rebooted Arbonne, in my opinion. So a certain millennial named Peyton Mott, who I'm hoping that I can, talk about soon, joined under Cecilia Stoll, which is the top income earner, who is, in my opinion, is just steer clear of that person. She joined and within a few months became a regional vice president, which is not normal, not typical. And because of that, the millennial market for Arbonne exploded. It gave this like health and wellness viewpoint. And I feel like in 2016, that was like a big thing, you know, health and wellness and like all these influencers and whatnot. And Brittany Morgan Trent and her twin sister, Nicole Poulsen, they are two of those people. Brittany Morgan Trent, from what I know, joined Peyton because apparently she's a direct to Peyton. And then Nicole Poulsen joined Brittany Morgan Trent. And they got in early in the millennial blow up of Arbonne. So she got in at the beginning of law school. She pretty quickly, you know, went up because it was new and it was fresh and it was different. And it's just like, it really is just like a company relaunching. So it's not typical because it's not possible again. That, like, relaunching that kind of thing in that same situation she was in, it's already been done. It's already done. So what she's saying is extremely deceptive because she was let in at a time, my dog's so cute, sorry. She was let in at a time where things were different and it was almost new again. So now with this huge business that she has, the issue is she really doesn't have to do that much work. I don't care what they say. They're at the top of the company. There's not much they have to do. They've made it to the top. They have thousands of people below them. So, of course, she's super busy with school, which I'm sure that she is. It's law school. She's intelligent. She's smart. You know, she's good at what she's doing with law school. But she's also good at what she's doing with Arbonne in the sense that when she got in, it was early in that boom. She leveled up really quickly, and now she really doesn't have to do much. That's the thing. She can fight me on that, but it's the truth.
Success is not defined by your schedule. If it was, busy people would never be successful because they'd never have time to get anything done, as they say. Being successful in this business truly comes down to your work ethic, how hard and how consistently you work. And working doesn't have to look like sitting down at a desk and clocking in for 10 hours a day to work an Arbonne business. And that's what I loved about it. I work my Arbonne business into the nooks and crannies of my life, even if they're small and even if they're few and far in between. I can tell you right now that I have a pretty full schedule when it comes to school, and I was able to just launch 2 new business builders in my business tonight from the comfort of my room from my laptop without having to leave my front door once. It doesn't come down to how much time you have to fit it in. It comes down to how often you fit it in, even into the small facets of time. And so many times we convince ourselves that we're so busy and we wear it around like a crown on our head. But I want to tell you right now that being busy is not an excuse to not get something else done and not do something that could better your future or better your family's future or better your entire life. Being busy is the reason you should do those things. Being busy was the reason that I chose Arbonne in the first place. The people whose success you want to chase in life, the people that you look like and they inspire you, do they sit around telling you about how busy they are and that they're too busy to get something else done? Or are they continuously looking for different avenues to self-develop and to progress in a different way?
The issue is, one, she says your work ethic equals your success. Well, no, not exactly. Her success wasn't based solely on her work ethic. It was based on timing and luck, which she had both. And she also had some privilege in that too. Her sister owned a big boutique. Not big necessarily, very popular boutique, I'll put it that way. They were in situations that worked out for them where they could get a lot of people very quickly. And they got people who sprung up in the business very quickly as well. So she's leaving out that part of her success was also with luck and situation. So her point of, you're busy, that's why you need it, and that's why this could help you, because it could help you become less busy, because it could take over your current job or whatever and give you more money. The fact of the matter is, this company and all MLMs in general show that most people don't make any money. It's not because of hard work. A lot of people do work hard. It's not because they don't have a vision or a belief or anything like that. It's because that's how multi-level marketing works. The way that the money flows is what the pyramid scheme is. It's not the triangle. The pyramid scheme is the way it flows. The money flows up in an MLM while the money flows down in other jobs. People get paid for going to meetings. People get paid for going to work and working. People get paid for the job that they're doing. But with MLMs, that's not the same thing. You don't get paid to go to the Zooms. You don't get paid unless it's sales commission and the biggest one, and I swear if you took this away from every single person in MLM, they would not have what they have. Not even half of it. The downline. They get paid on their recruits. That is the big issue. And that is where the most substantial money comes in.
Because I can almost guarantee you right now that every single human being that inspires you constantly is putting more and more on their plate, doing more so they can be more, so they can give more. So is that truly the one hesitation and the one reason you're going to give yourself for not starting a business that can completely transform your life? And like I said, if you want to see the typical earnings statement, go to earnings.arbonne.com. But just because only less than 1% of the people get to the level that I am at in Arbonne, which is National Vice President. I'm an executive National Vice President. There are now 8 National Vice Presidents on my team. There are 12 Regional Vice Presidents on my team who are in the top less than 2%. Just because that's not typical doesn't mean it doesn't happen. It means that the people who chose to reach those levels were the people who decided to do what 99 and what 98% of people just won't get done. And so when I heard that less than 1% of people reach the
Brittany, no, that's wrong. You're saying that this less than 1% is better than the 99%. They're doing the stuff that the other 99% won't. That's wrong. That's just not true. That's absolutely wrong. They're not working harder necessarily. There's certain situational aspects of it that help them get there. All right? The influence, the luck, the money they already had, the following, which is, I guess, essentially the influence. There's so much to it. Do not act like that 1% is better, Brittany. The 1%, in my opinion, are the people who know the scam. I left Arbonne when I came to a crossroad. The crossroad was, I figured it out. I realized that I could continue and probably become a national vice president. But by that time, I had figured out that what I was doing and what I had been saying wasn't the same thing. Most people weren't going to make money. I realized that at the crossroad. Especially if I kept going, I'd get more people below me, and maybe a few of them would be successful, like the 12 of her RVPs and the 8 executive or the 8 national vice presidents. Okay, so you take the 12 and the 8, but how many people on your team? Thousands. Thousands upon thousands of people. Tens of thousands maybe, especially with 8 national vice presidents. She's going to have tens of thousands probably on her team. And you're telling me that those tens of thousands are not working? How did you become an executive national vice president? Because of the people below you. Those people who are working tirelessly, who were not in the situation that you were in and did not have the ability to move up like you did because you checked all the boxes. You were in the right situation with the right influence at the right time. It's not the same for everyone because that's how multi-level marketing companies work. And shame on her for acting like those 99% of people didn't work their butts off.
Top level in Arbonne, I was excited because I knew that I was willing and able to work more than 99% of people would choose to. And it really does come down to that. It comes down to it's a choice. Every single day in life, you have a choice to be the person who sets and wishes that it would happen, or you can decide to be the person who makes it happen. But you're the only human being in the world that can make that decision for you. And I can guarantee you one thing, if you're looking at joining a company and you want to be part of the less than 1%, then you have to be non-negotiable. You have to be the person who wakes up every single day and decides to make it happen by doing the non-typical. If you want non-typical results, you have to do the non-typical. And it just comes down to that. But I'm going to tell you right now that if your typical excuse for not starting an Arbonne business and not starting in on this endeavor is that you're too busy and that you don't have the time, I'm going to tell you right now that every single human being in the world gets to choose every single day what they do with their time. You've heard it before, so you'll hear it here again, is that we all have the exact same 24 hours in every single day. And my 24 hours isn't any longer or more lenient than your 24 hours. Every single day, we are our own adults, and we get to choose what we do with those 24 hours. And what's funny is that very often we hear people say, I don't have an extra hour to work out today, or
So I've read this before on another video, but it's been a while, and Molly May said something that this person said, Brittany Morgan Trent, and that I used to believe. And so this is written by Alice Snape on January 8th of 2022. It says, we don't all have the same 24 hours, but I understand why some people believe it. Here are some quotes. If you put your mind to it, you can achieve anything you want. Dream big. The world is your oyster. You don't have time, you make time. I'll read a little bit of this, and just bear with me. We've seen them thousands of times before. Motivational words dressed up in pretty Instagram squares, ready to reshare and emblazoned on mugs, t-shirts, keyrings, badges. The kind of sentiment so many of us reach for when we need a boost, when it feels like there aren't enough hours in a day. On the surface, such motivational phrases seem harmless, but when we pick them apart, are they really? While speaking on the podcast Diary of a CEO, creative director of Pretty Little Thing and former Love Islander Molly May commented that we all have the same 24 hours in a day, and that if we want something badly enough, we can achieve it no matter what. The entire interview is about 1 hour, 42 minutes long, but a small section of it recently pulled out and shared on social media. So I'm going to skip some of the details about Molly May and things like that. I'm just going to go to the part that I think is important. Molly May said in the clip, Beyonce has the same 24 hours in a day that we do, and I just think, you're given one life, and it's up to you what to do with it. You can literally go in any direction. Her team has since defended her comments by saying Molly's not commenting on anyone else's personal life or personal situation. She can only speak for her own experiences. But the intense backlash of her comments have caused, and the debate that's followed cannot be ignored. Because as much as we like to think otherwise, some of us may have had similar thoughts, that if we apply ourselves and work harder, maybe we can achieve more. But there's a much bigger picture. That quote started doing the rounds on the internet about the same time as the term girl boss was coined. You have the same 24 hours as Beyonce, by the Nasty Girl founder Sophia Amoruso in 2014. On surface level, I get it. The sentiment is to say that the most successful, aka rich women in the world, are also restricted by the same laws of time as the rest of us, which, as Molly May says, is literally true in that yet there are 24 hours in a day. Before we go any further, we also need to acknowledge that the likes of Beyonce and co. and have teams of chefs, trainers, nannies, assistants, drivers, managers, ultimately freeing up a lot more of those 24 hours, which can then be spent on trying to achieve their goals. And yet, even with that truth in mind, the work hard and you'll succeed mantra persists, when really, it's a myth that those in power want us to cling to. Can a single working class mother of 3, grafting away in a low-paid job to support her family, really achieve as much in a day as somebody born into a well-off family who can afford to work in a part-time job, who has better social connections and has been educated in a more favorable school? Can someone who's trying to keep their head above water with minimal opportunities in a small town really be compared to someone who has exactly the same dreams but for whom money has never been an issue? What if you have unconscious biases and racial gaslighting to contend with? As writer Evie Muir puts it, I have the same 24 hours as Beyonce, but I spend most of them advocating for my own mental health against ableist, racist workplaces who make me cry and give me panic attacks. We're not the same. When you ask those questions, the answer seems obvious. But as Molly May uttered these words, I saw a tiny part of my past self in her. I was also bombarded by the same message of work hard and you'll become top dog, long before social media existed. A simplistic meme proclaiming everyone has the same 24 hours in a day can never really illustrate how our society is built on a flawed system, and that sadly, it's one that simply doesn't offer up equal opportunities for all. It's a tough pill to swallow, as I'm sure Molly May is coming to realize now. Why wouldn't we want to believe that if we work hard, we'll reap rewards? It's an attractive notion, but it's also toxic and puts the emphasis on the individual and not the flawed system we live within. And those inspirational memes that profess that we can all get what our heart desires if we just try harder, they're part of the problem. They assume that mediocrity is actually a thing, that it doesn't matter where you come from, how much money you have, where you grew up, the color of your skin, what you look like, because if you work hard, you can have everything you want. Everyone loves an underdog hero story. But it's not true, is it? And perhaps it's time we stop pretending it is. We have to question, would Molly May be here, where she is today, without the privileged position she is in? Would she be where she is if she had a chronic illness that made everyday tasks take 10 times longer. Would a young carer who spends all day at school, then looks after her sick parents, be able to hashtag girl boss her way to success when she only has about half an hour to herself to take a shower? Or a mom of 3 kids who has autism. She has 2 jobs and barely has any time to go to the bathroom. For exactly that reason, we don't and can't ever all have the same 24 hours in a day. We can't all get where we want purely from how much effort we put in. So, I know that was long, but I put the link below, and I recommend reading the entire thing. It is very, very good, and it really just strikes down this entire boss babe culture, this boss girl culture of we all have the same 24 hours, we all can do it. No, actually, we can't.
Hour a day to work an Arbonne business, but you have an extra hour to watch Netflix, or you have an extra hour to take the long way home, or you have an extra hour to go to the car wash and then maybe make that additional run to Target that you didn't need in the first place. But you're telling yourself as an excuse that you're too busy to have an extra hour to work an Arbonne business. Yet you sit there and you want more for your life, and you want more for your family, and you wish you just had that extra, and you wish you could do more so you could be more, so you could give more. Yet you're telling yourself that you're too busy to do more for yourself. So often the excuse of being too busy, or so often the excuse of not having enough time, or our plate's too full, is not only cutting our life short, it's cutting ourselves short. And the one person that you're put on this earth at the start to take care of is you. So how are you taking care of yourself? And not just yourself, but how are you taking care of your dreams? Because I am so tired, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm so tired of seeing people choose to not live to their fullest potential because they're constantly convincing themselves and selling themselves short that they are not capable.
The idea that she's putting forth is it's your fault of where you are, when in reality, the majority of the time it's not. It is just how we were grown up, what we were brought into. It's privilege, right? There's a lot of factors that play into it, but what she's doing is saying it's your fault. You're just going to have to put your best foot forward. You're going to have to do it. But she's coming from a place of absolute ignorance. She has no idea. Like the girl who has chronic illness and can't get a job because she's in so much pain. Like the mom who has 3 kids and she's a single mom, and her kids are under the age of 5, and she has to figure out how to get them to daycare, pay for daycare, work 2 jobs, and also add an MLM on top of it when the facts are that most people don't make money. It infuriates me. It's like this kind of like passionate justice that I want to come out of these situations, especially with people like her who are like, it's your fault. You have to make the choice. You were choosing not to do it. Well, no, actually, a lot of people don't have the ability to choose to do it. And those that do usually lose money. The ignorance of this, like, it boils my blood, but it's important, I think, for us to break down and see.
For unnecessary reasons, and being busy is an unnecessary excuse. It's not a crown. Being busy is not something to be proud of. It's not something to not be proud of, but you see what I'm saying? When I introduce myself, I say, I'm Brittany Trent. I might talk about my passions. I might talk about that I'm a full-time law school student, or that I'm an executive national vice president with Arbonne, but I don't shake somebody's hand and say, I'm busy. So stop using that as an excuse in between you and what can potentially be the greatest yes of your entire lifetime. Stop selling yourself short, because these dreams that you have, while they're amazing and while they're incredible and they're putting you on the right track and they're getting you here, dreams are only dreams. And there is a hell of a lot of hard work and blood and sweat and tears that go behind every single dream in between the day the dream was dreamt and the fruition of that dream. But one of the biggest blockers in your way might be your very own excuses. And so I hope maybe this kind of helped you realize that. At the end of the day, like I said, the only human being that is accountable for you, the only human being that can get the job done of convincing yourself that you deserve a good life in whatever you choose, and to not be your own worst enemy and setting up excuse after excuse of why you're not good enough, is the person who wakes up and realizes that the only person who can decide that you're good enough to stop making excuses to keep you from your highest self and keep you from your best self is you. And the day you start saying yes to opportunity when it's knocking at your door is the day you will change your entire life. And I know it might sound crazy from the outside looking in, but Arbonne was the vehicle I used to change my entire life and that I used to change other people's lives. I didn't wake up whenever I became fully competent and decide that I was going to be an Arbonne lady, helping Arbonne ladies and Arbonne guys all around the world. That wasn't something that I envisioned for myself, but I did envision for myself having an impact. And I did envision for myself, maybe not changing the world, but changing.
I'm just going to be honest. Your impact is not positive. People in MLMs, the impact is not positive. I don't care what you say that the product has done for you or someone else. Overall, if you look at it as a whole, and specifically like the health claims, the income claims, it is extremely harmful. So you're actually the opposite. Your impact is harmful in major ways.
Someone's world. And I did envision myself teaching other people that they had the exact same capabilities that I had. They just had to act on them. And so while Arbonne wasn't always what I thought I was going to do those things through, it became the vehicle that I was able to reach those things through, and I was able to reach those people through. And I started off in my bedroom thinking about Arbonne like so many of you are right now. If you've watched this much of it, surely you're interested. You've probably given yourself every excuse in the book, and I'm willing to bet that saying you're busy or saying you don't have enough time is one of them. But I'm going to say from the outside looking, or the inside looking out now, where I used to be from the outside looking in, is that it's not up to your schedule. It's up to your work ethic. And if you believe in yourself enough to know, like I did, that I had work ethic that was higher than the average person, and that
I hate how she's putting this on work ethic, because a lot of people in lower wage jobs have some of the most intense, best work ethic I've ever seen. They'll work 3 jobs and they'll get all of that done while also raising kids, and they won't whine about it, even though they have every right to. Some of these people in these low wage jobs that people talk about and that people kind of like raise their noses to, they are some of the hardest workers. Her, no. I don't care. I don't know her very well, but I don't think she's an extremely hard worker when comparing her to actually extremely hard workers. I think it's privilege.
Was non-typical, and I was proud about that, then you are capable of doing non-typical things. And this is one of them too. I'd love to share more with you about how. I'd love to share more with you about why this is the right company, why this is the right time, why this is the right place, and why these are the right products. Because obviously I believe in them with my whole heart, and so many other people do as well. I have so many things I could say about Arbonne, and I could share about the products. But my favorite thing that Arbonne offers is truly the business. And my favorite thing that the business offers is hope, a legacy, and the human beings that it brings into your life, and the human beings that you're able to touch their lives just because you said yes and you kept going. So reach out to me with any questions you have if you want any more information. But even if you're not even looking at starting an Arbonne business and you're just looking at starting an endeavor, please realize, like I said, that some will sit and wish they would have made it happen. And some people, usually the successful people that you're watching and aspiring to be like, are the people who just got off their ass and made it happen. And I have a seat for you at my table. If you're ready to jump in, please reach out. I'll save it for you and I'll talk to you then. But other than that, I hope you guys have a great night.
All right, everybody, get off your ass. Okay, let's break this down really quick before we end the video. She said the best part is the business. Well, yes, because that's how you make the most money. You recruit people, and that's how you make the most money. Like I said, she said it gives you hope, legacy, and humans. I put humans, but it's like friendship and community and stuff. The thing is, if you leave, you lose that, right? You lose the community. The community is only there if you're making them money. The legacy, what? That doesn't even make sense. Like, the fact is, the legacy of it is for the people in the top less than 1% who can leave their business to their family. But people don't want to do that. Like, their children aren't going to want to do that. They're just going to continue to make money pretty much from their business is what it is. They can, like, write it off to their kids, and their kids will make as much money as their downline is going to be able to make them when they hit, like, area manager. You can, like, will the business to your family. It's like this weird thing in Arbonne. That's not a legacy. And the thing is, like, legacy in general, like, leave a legacy. Like, you're not. You're in a scam. Is that what you want your legacy to be? I really feel like that's what you want it to be. And then the other one, hope, maybe for 0.1%. Maybe for 1% of people. But hope is all people are ever going to have if they join. It's never going to come true for most people. Because if it did, for most people, it wouldn't work as well for the 1%. They wouldn't make as much money. That's really all I've got on Brittany Morgan Trent. I really don't want to give her any more of my time. There's a lot more to break down here that I hope to hear from you in the comments. Feel free to leave your commentary below. I'd love to hear what you think about her thoughts and what she's expressed in this video. Of course, no ad hominem attacks or anything. I mean, thanks for watching to the end. I am feeling a bit better. I hope that I am 100% soon. I don't know. My taste and my smell are really off right now, which is such a bummer. A lot of things are not great right now, but that's okay. And I'm glad that I'm feeling well enough to do this today. And just give this video a like and go ahead and hit subscribe. I'd appreciate it. And I hope that you enjoy my other videos. I have really bingeable playlists. Hit the bell button if you want to get notified when I post. Also, if you want to become a member, we do have a Discord. We need to do more member-only lives, but we do those every once in a while, not very often. I need to start doing that more. I'm going to start doing more lives, so feel free to hit the bell button. I'm going to go to bed. I hope you have the most amazing morning, afternoon, evening, night, wherever you are in the world, and whenever you're watching this. I'll see you next time.
Show you what I'm all about. Make up for what we lost. Tonight is the night that we're gonna fall in love. I don't care about you and him. I don't care about what has been. I only care about yours.